Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will make your blood run cold. 5 years. 5 years Mason Reed stood between Charlie Kirk and danger. 5 years of watching, protecting, securing. And in one single night, everything he thought he knew shattered into 1,000 pieces of betrayal and horror. You want to know what keeps a man awake at night? What makes a trained security professional's hands shake when he tries to speak? It's not fear. It's knowing. It's carrying the weight of truth when everyone around you is drowning in lies. And Mason Reed? That man knows something so devastating, so utterly soul-crushing, that speaking it out loud almost killed him. September 19th. Remember that date. Because that's when Mason walked into a small podcast studio that nobody had ever heard of and dropped a bomb that would explode across 20 million screens in less than a day. His voice, steady. His eyes, haunted. His message, absolutely terrifying. He said 5 words that changed everything. I keep seeing that night. What night? The night before Charlie Kirk died. The night that was never supposed to exist. The night that 3 unmarked cars pulled up to the Kirk residence in Phoenix just after midnight like shadows converging on prey. Mason wasn't supposed to be there. Hell, nobody was supposed to know about that meeting. But when you're head of security, you see everything. You hear everything. And sometimes what you witness becomes the very thing that destroys you. Picture this. It's 1:47 in the morning. The house is dead quiet except for voices behind a closed door. Low voices. Controlled voices. Angry voices. Mason's standing guard outside that study, and he can hear words bleeding through the walls. Funding. Contract. Signature. Then Charlie's voice rising like a man fighting for his life. And then silence. The kind of silence that feels like a held breath before a scream. When that door opened, Charlie walked out alone. His shirt was half-buttoned. His face was pale as death. And he looked at Mason with eyes that said everything without saying anything at all. Take the night off. 4 words. The last order Charlie Kirk would ever give. And Mason? He knew. Right then, standing in that hallway, he knew something terrible was coming. But here's what makes me furious. Here's what should make your skin crawl with rage. Mason tried to warn people. He tried to speak up. And what happened? His podcast episode got deleted. His LinkedIn vanished. Within 48 hours, Mason Reed disappeared off the face of the earth like he never existed. His apartment? Swept clean. Laptop gone. Phone gone. The only thing left behind were watered plants and questions nobody wants to answer. You think that's a coincidence? You think a man who spent 5 years protecting one of the most visible political figures in America just suddenly decides to ghost everyone and everything? No. People don't disappear like that unless someone makes them disappear. Unless someone has the power, the resources, and the cold-blooded willingness to erase a human being from existence. And ERIKA Kirk. Oh, ERIKA. The grieving widow. The woman posting Bible verses and soft-lit Instagram reels about forgiveness and faith.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. Beautiful words. Touching sentiment. Except the internet doesn't forget. The internet doesn't forgive. Because the moment Mason spoke her name in connection with that midnight meeting, ERIKA went radio silent. Deleted comments. Disabled replies. And then, in one careless moment during a live stream, she read a text notification out loud. Just one sentence. Tell them the bodyguard's lying. Who was she texting? Who was on the other end of that message coordinating damage control and crafting narratives? Because within hours of that slip, Mason's story got buried under privacy violation claims. Within a day, he was gone. And if you think that timing is random, you haven't been paying attention to how power actually works in this country. Let me paint you another picture. 3 days after Charlie died, an email went out from the security firm Mason worked for. Subject line? Client terminated. Message? No further reporting. Purge camera data. Standard procedure, they said. Except here's the part that should terrify you. That request didn't come from ERIKA Kirk. It didn't come from her lawyers. It came from an untraceable VPN address pinging out of Washington, D.C. Let that sink in. Someone in D.C. was giving orders to delete evidence from a private residence in Phoenix. Who has that kind of reach? who can snap their fingers and make surveillance footage disappear across state lines. Not a grieving widow. Not a political influencer. We're talking about people with connections so deep, so powerful, that they can manipulate investigations from hundreds of miles away and leave no fingerprints behind. And Charlie knew. God, Charlie knew something was wrong. Former staffers started coming forward after Mason spoke. One event manager sent a voice note describing Charlie's paranoia in his final weeks. He kept switching SIM cards. He said he felt followed even in his own home. He told people his phones were tapped. This wasn't a man living in peace. This was a man living in fear. Then there's the assistant, the one whose name we're protecting because people around this story keep vanishing. She confirmed that in Charlie's final week, he had a massive argument with ERIKA over a contract involving her family's companies. She wanted him to sign. He refused. And he said something chilling. If I sign this, I'm signing my soul away. The assistant laughed at the time. She's not laughing anymore. Because now she understands what Charlie understood too late. Some contracts aren't about business. They're about control. About ownership. About who gets to live and who becomes inconvenient. Mason mentioned a meeting. 3 cars. 2 people he recognized. One, a major donor connected to TPUSA. The other, a political consultant whose name keeps appearing in federal filings. They went straight to the study. Voices got heated. Charlie's tone rose. And at 1:53 in the morning, ERIKA took a phone call. Mason heard it. He was standing right there. And when the podcast host asked him who was on that call, Mason hesitated. His eyes darted off camera. Then he muttered 6 words that set the entire internet ablaze. Someone who doesn't lose elections. Think about that. Someone who doesn't lose elections was on the phone with Charlie Kirk in the middle of the night, while her husband was in the next room arguing about contracts and funding. Who fits that description? Political heavyweights. Campaign strategists. People who move elections like chess pieces. And suddenly this story isn't about a marriage anymore. It's about machinery. It's about systems of power that crush anyone who threatens to expose them. Reddit went insane. Timelines. Screenshots. Private jet records. People started connecting dots between donors and politicians, between money and murder, between love and calculated destruction. And for the first time, mainstream media couldn't ignore it anymore. CNN ran segments. Fox News called it a witch hunt. But behind closed doors, reporters were sliding into true crime tapes DMs begging for copies of the audio Mason recorded. We tried to send it. We really did. But before we could, our email archive was breached. Files corrupted overnight. 2 hard drives fried simultaneously. Technical failure, they said. Random malfunction. Except nothing about this story is random. Nothing about this story is coincidental. When you're investigating people with unlimited resources and zero accountability, technology becomes a weapon. Evidence becomes collateral damage. And truth becomes the most dangerous thing you can possess. Then came the footage. 38 seconds that changed everything. Night vision security feed. 1:56 in the morning. The Kirk driveway. And there's Charlie, walking toward the garage. But he's not alone. There's another figure in the shadows. Smaller. Tense. Following him. Charlie turns. The camera catches a faint flash from his phone like he's recording something himself. Like he knew he needed insurance. Like he knew this might be his last chance to document what was happening to him. The internet tore that footage apart frame by frame. Slowed it down. Zoomed in. Enhanced every pixel. And in one frame, reflected on the garage door, was a license plate. Internet sleuths traced it back to a rental car registered under an alias linked to a donor consulting firm in Washington, D.C. The same D.C. where that VPN address pinged from. The same D.C. where political consultants make careers out of making problems disappear. ERIKA released a statement. For sentences of polished corporate denial. Our family asks for privacy as false rumors continue circulating online. We remain focused on faith and healing. Faith and healing. You can't hashtag your way out of a scandal that reeks of blood and cover-up. You can't Bible verse your way past witnesses who keep vanishing and cameras that keep getting erased. Because then came the audio transcripts. Pulled from a neighbor's outdoor camera microphone. Faint background noise. Charlie's sharp tone. A woman's muffled reply. Then a metallic thud like a gate slamming or a car door closing. One Reddit user enhanced the audio and swore you could hear 3 words. They already know. Was it ERIKA? Was it someone from that midnight meeting? Nobody could prove it. But the timing fit perfectly with everything Mason described. Then the text leak started. An anonymous account called TP Inside Files began posting screenshots of internal group chats between Turning Point staffers. Messages that said things like, "Boss said clear Mason's credentials, he's seen too much." Another one, "Delete the garage cam backup before HQ asks." The account vanished within minutes, but the screenshots were already saved, mirrored, and spreading like wildfire across every platform. Blogs that wouldn't touch this story a week earlier suddenly ran headlines like "Turning Point's Hidden Crisis." What did ERIKA know? Inside sources told us that ERIKA spent an entire afternoon on panicked calls with attorneys and donors. One source claimed she was offered temporary relocation to an undisclosed retreat in Montana. Translation: run and hide until everyone forgets. Except nobody's forgetting. Nobody's moving on. That evening, an unlisted video link appeared in hundreds of journalists' inboxes. The sender, mred.secure at Proton Mail. Subject line: you were right. The file contained a 2-minute voice recording. Mason's voice. Shaky but determined. "I shouldn't be talking," it began. "But if they think erasing cameras will save her, they're wrong." There's another copy. He mentioned a backup drive stored where Charlie kept the silver revolver he never used. Symbolic clue. Because everyone close to Charlie knew he didn't own firearms. So what was Mason really saying? Safe deposit box? Digital storage hidden in plain sight? The message cut off mid-sentence, followed by static, then silence. Media called it the 10-minute warning. ERIKA's lawyers dismissed it as AI-generated disinformation. But the metadata showed the file was created days before Mason disappeared. Tech analysts admitted it didn't look synthesized. Fans became detectives again. Mapping gun ranges. Safe deposit branches. Storage lockers near the Kirk home. Meanwhile, we kept digging. We found records showing that 2 days after Charlie's death, a local locksmith filed an invoice for safe access at a residential property. Client name redacted. But the payment? Routed through GDK Industries. ERIKA's family company. If that backup drive was in that safe, it was gone before police ever arrived. ERIKA snapped. In a now-deleted post, she wrote, "You people are vultures feeding on grief. Leave us alone." 5 minutes later, she deleted her entire account. That's when Leah Porter stepped forward. Former assistant scheduler at TPUSA. Fired 2 weeks after Charlie's death. On a live stream, she made a claim that sent shockwaves through everyone watching. Mason had contacted her the night before he disappeared. "He told me not to trust the official story," she said. "He said there's proof the meeting wasn't just about money. It was about control." Control of what? Leah wouldn't say. But she described a second envelope Charlie had instructed her to mail if anything ever happened to him. It never reached its destination. Someone intercepted it. Postal logs showed a signature mismatch. When Leah held up the receipt, an actual USPS tracking stub dated 2 days before Charlie's death, even the skeptics went quiet. We cross-checked that tracking number. It led to an address registered to a shell nonprofit in D.C. called American Integrity Initiative, one of TPUSA's top 10 donors. Now the theory shifted completely. This wasn't love gone wrong. This was a political chess game. What if ERIKA's relationship with Charlie wasn't accidental? What if she was positioned there from the start? People started calling her the PR asset. Memes flooded TikTok showing her switching masks. Wife, widow, CEO, influencer. All with captions like, "Nothing happens by coincidence." Right when the noise peaked, our YouTube upload page glitched. Our scheduled deep dive on leaked emails suddenly showed, removed for security review. Flagged under potentially manipulated content. Except we uploaded raw evidence. No edits. The takedown only made it bigger. Mirrors popped up everywhere. Rumble. Telegram. Reddit. The Streisand effect in real time. Inside those emails, donors discussed aligning messaging post-event and transferring influence operations to family leadership. Cold corporate language. But to anyone paying attention, it spelled one thing: succession plan. Charlie's death wasn't just tragic. It was convenient. When reporters asked ERIKA's team for comment, they released a photo of her volunteering at a children's hospital. Caption: "Love conquers hate." Classic PR distraction. But eagle-eyed viewers spotted something in the corner of that photo. The same gold bracelet Charlie gifted her on their anniversary. Only now, it was engraved with new initials. Not CKJV. Within hours, users matched those initials to J.D. Vance, a known political ally of Tpuza. Speculation exploded. Was that the man Mason meant when he said, "someone who doesn't lose elections"? Vance's office denied everything, called it internet fan fiction. But the damage was done. At this point, even Mason's detractors went silent. Because if he faked all of this, he'd have to be a genius hacker with access to federal databases, private footage, donor emails, all while being missing. So where is he? Rumors say he crossed into Mexico under a fake name. Others claim witness protection. But a new theory suggests he's closer than anyone thinks. Still in Arizona, watching everything unfold. Some users swear they spotted him in background footage of a vigil last week, wearing a hooded sweatshirt, standing by the fence. Maybe he's hiding in plain sight. Maybe he's planning to drop the final proof himself. Then came the name that changed everything. Not another donor. Not a politician. Someone inside ERIKA's own circle. Rachel Vaughn. ERIKA's personal assistant for over 3 years. The woman who organized the funeral and handled Charlie's estate paperwork. Her LinkedIn quietly vanished. But an anonymous whistleblower sent us a 14-page PDF marked personal correspondence. Email exchanges between ERIKA and Rachel spanning weeks before and after Charlie's death. They weren't business emails. They were strategy memos. One line read, "Once transition complete, confirm donor attention. Messaging must appear compassionate but firm. We can't afford empathy to look like guilt." Dated 36 hours after the funeral. Another file showed internal Tpuza expense approvals signed EK, acting interim. Even though the board hadn't named her yet, she'd stepped into Charlie's role before his family received his belongings. People who'd started moving on came back furious. She planned a promotion like a launch party. Another tweet went viral. Love didn't die that night. It got promoted. Rachel Vaughn resurfaced days later. Paparazzi spotted her outside a Scottsdale cafe, visibly shaken, clutching a phone. When a reporter shouted, "Is it true ERIKA made you forge signatures?" Rachel froze. Her only words, "You don't know what they're capable of." Then she was gone. Car speeding off before anyone could follow. Within 24 hours of that sighting, Rachel's condo was cleared out. Mail piling at the door. Lease terminated. Another disappearance. Another witness vanished. It was starting to look less like coincidence and more like systematic containment. Like someone was cleaning up loose ends with military precision. Meanwhile, ERIKA reemerged online with a rebranded account. ERIKA Lives Faith. Gone was the political influencer image. In its place, healing coach. Long captions about forgiveness, light transformation. But followers noticed subtle things. Cropped photos where her wedding ring used to be. Captions like, "Not every battle is fought in public." For critics, that was a confession in plain sight. We traced her latest Instagram livestream metadata. It pinged from a resort compound near Bozeman, Montana. The same region insiders claimed she'd retreated to. Guess who owns property there? One of the donors whose SUV Mason said arrived that night. This story wasn't about a couple anymore. It was a web connecting money, politics, and manipulation at the highest levels. Then out of nowhere, another upload dropped on a burner account titled M Retribution. Thumbnail, black with white text. "You didn't delete everything." Viewers clicked. 45 seconds of shaky handheld footage from inside a dimly lit office. A man's voice whispered, "They wanted it buried, but truth has backups." Then static. A flash of a computer desktop. A folder labeled CK Drive 2. The cursor hovered, double-clicked, paused on a video file named finalmeeting.mp4. The clip cut off before it played. That single frame triggered chaos. Was this the backup Mason hinted at? If yes, who uploaded it? Him or someone avenging him? Within an hour, the video vanished from the internet. Takedowns everywhere. But cached thumbnails proved it was real. Journalists started calling the CK Drive the holy grail of political scandal. Charlie's family, silent for months, issued a rare statement. "We've seen enough to know our son didn't die in peace. The truth is being hidden, and we will not stop until it's out." That line, "didn't die in peace," hit everyone like a gut punch. It reframed everything. Maybe Charlie didn't take his life. Maybe he was silenced. We obtained a leaked police report draft that was never officially filed. It referenced inconsistencies in time of death and pending toxicology clarification. But someone had crossed it out in pen. The signature at the bottom? An officer later promoted within a month to a DC position. How convenient. How utterly, devastatingly convenient. The emotional center of it all remained Charlie's bodyguard. People began treating Mason like a martyr. Fan edits. Tribute pages. Hashtags like #RememberMason trending globally. The irony. The man whose job was to stay invisible had become a symbol. Meanwhile, we kept receiving encrypted messages. Random strings of numbers. File fragments. Coded phrases like key in the frame. Our team pieced them together. It led to an old Tpuza promo video still live on YouTube. At timestamp 342, in the background reflection of a window, there was a man's silhouette holding a camera identical to Mason's frame from his old training photos. A ghost in plain sight. Was it coincidence, or was Mason sending proof that he's alive and still recording? 3 nights ago, a USB drive arrived at our mailbox. Unmarked. No return address. Inside, a single audio clip. Just breathing. Faint footsteps. A whisper. Watch the night sky. It's not over. 20 seconds. But it sounded like Mason. So where does that leave ERIKA? Victim of an online witch hunt or architect of a perfectly timed power grab? Every day, more questions. Fewer answers. Tpuza's board announced strategic restructuring. ERIKA's position suspended pending internal review. The empire's cracking. Supporters split into 2 camps. Those who defend her as misunderstood, and those who see her as the villain of a modern political thriller. Either way, her brand is tarnished beyond repair. Sponsors dropping. Partnerships freezing. Podcasts canceling appearances. We're not here to declare guilt. We just connect dots others pretend don't exist. But one thing's undeniable. Too many disappearances, too many coincidences, too many technical errors for this to be random. The night before Charlie died was supposed to be another private meeting. Instead, it became the starting point of a chain reaction that refuses to stop. Every new piece of evidence leads back to the same conclusion. Someone wanted this story dead. And it's still fighting to live. As of tonight, the CK drive hasn't resurfaced. But digital traces show fragments being uploaded from different IPs across Europe. Maybe Mason's scattering the truth like breadcrumbs, forcing the world to look until that final file drops. All we can do is watch and remember what his last message said. They wanted it buried. But truth has backups. Because no matter how many cameras they erase or how many witnesses vanish, someone always hits record. She vanished without a trace. But the secret stayed. A trail of erased cameras. Missing witnesses. One whisper that refuses to die. What started as tragedy has turned into a labyrinth of cover-ups, fear, and unanswered questions. How many coincidences does it take before coincidence stops being the word? How many people have to vanish before the truth starts to sound dangerous? Every document, every deleted clip, every coded message brings us closer to what Charlie's bodyguard tried to tell the world. That the story everyone believed was never the real one. But here's what matters most. You've been watching, connecting dots, sharing receipts, refusing to look away. That's what keeps these secrets from staying buried. Because the louder we ask, the harder it becomes for them to hide. Maybe Mason's gone. Maybe he's watching. Maybe the CK drive is still out there waiting for someone brave enough to hit upload. But one thing's certain, the truth always leaks. And when it does, it won't just haunt the guilty. It'll expose every single name that tried to silence it. So tell us, what do you think really happened that night? Was it love gone wrong or something far darker? This conversation isn't over. There's still one more file, one more voice, one more secret waiting to break the surface, where whispers turn into evidence and secrets explode before your eyes.